Share your knowledge. It is a way to achieve immorality, the Dalai Lama once said, and rightly so, as only by sharing thoughts and ideas we can discover new things together. Hello, we are Amit and Daniëlle, founders of heygroentje.nl. Through heygroentje, our mission is to introduce people to the amazing vegan Indian cuisine and to discuss topics we find interesting with a wider audience. Today in this episode we talk about minimalism and what it means for us. We aim to answer through this podcast the following questions. What is minimalism? What does it mean for us? Our journey with minimalism? Is minimalism just a trend? And how to start decluttering. We plan to give some tips based on our experiences on how we can declutter our life from material things. So here I would like to welcome my wife Daniëlle, and we are just back from a trip to the supermarket where we were not that minimalistic, I think.
No, we bought quite some things, but I think you can never have enough vegetables and fruit because that's mostly what we bought there.
That's right. And that's what also minimalism means, like living with less stuff. Less is more, but if you really need stuff, then you have to go for it. But the question remains, like, where is the gap or the difference between less or just needing stuff or having greed for stuff, right?
It's a good thing that you're saying there. And if you go back to the supermarket today, maybe we didn't need all those fruits we bought, but it's still good to have. And with some things you should not compromise.
Right. And one interesting point, like that maybe I forget when I ask you this, is that we didn't plan to get so many fruits because we bought buy this box from,
it's a kind of
from a supermarket
box.
Right, you pay €3 for a box with stuff that is going to expire. And there they put a lot of stuff, mostly fruits and vegetables. And
you never know what you're getting.
Right, sometimes it's even more than you need to consume. But that kind of forces you to eat more fruits and vegetables.
But we always make sure that we first go to get that box.
Right.
We see what is in there. And then we make our round to the supermarket so we don't buy double things and buy too much because we don't want to throw away. So it is followed up by minimalism. Also veganism.
Also veganism, vegan. That's right. We eat vegan, so it's.
But we think about it, when we go to the supermarket.
That's right. So I'm curious, like how. What does it mean? What does it entail for you? To be a minimalist or to be just follow minimalism, or what is it exactly for you? What does it mean?
I always find it a difficult question to answer, but for me it means to just to have less stuff, to be less attached to things. But the reason why I find it difficult always to say, because what I find
So what does minimalism mean for you?
I always find it a bit a difficult question to answer. But what it means for me is just having less stuff. Don't have stuff. Just not having stuff I don't need. Is that a good sentence? But just not having stuff around me that I'm not using and that I'm not needing. But the reason why I always find it a bit difficult, because I don't need it, but maybe someone else is finding it important to have. But it just means for me that I don't have things around me that I just see it always a bit in this way. When your house or maybe your room, or doesn't matter where, if the place around you is really full with stuff, that also makes your head really full with stuff.
Right.
It makes your head really full in, if your surrounding is more simple, it gives you more calmness. Yeah. Right. I think it's mostly about that.
Yeah. So, really having less stuff. And is it also then about replacing the stuff with something in life, or you think it's just detachment from material stuff in general?
I think mostly that, the last thing, that that if now also with replacement, because if you see nowadays, you can have whole collections of books,
right?
But you can also go to a library. Okay, that's also there for ages, libraries. But what is quite new is the online books to read or even to listen. Yeah. So you don't need all the books anymore in your house. Yeah. And of course, I also like it to have a few books to read, to have, because those books are really important for me. But I can tell you a nice story about when I was a bit younger. Yeah. When I was in my teenagers, when I started to work when I was 16.
I'm curious if I've already heard that story.
I don't know if I
don't think so.
I don't think so. But when I was around 16 and I started to work, I had more money to spend. And I was mostly spending that on buying books and DVDs. I had a whole collection and I just wanted more and more and more. And I was even counting all the books and DVDs I was having. Yeah. I don't know why now, but at that moment in my life, I was really enjoying it.
Because you were busy with a collection.
Yeah, I was really making a collection of it. And I was enjoying it, to go to markets and to buy books for like 50 cents or €1, and just really cheap books. And I realized when I moved in with you a few years later that I never read those books I was buying. Like maybe out of the whole collection, I just read a few books, and the rest, they were just there for the collection. And at that point, I really, I just realized that why do I have all that stuff around me when I'm not even using it?
Right. Was there a role of, just some marketing or capitalism behind your decision? Do you feel like you were influenced by something to collect? Did you learn it, or did you see your friends doing it perhaps when you were you started working or in school?
No, not really, especially not with books. I think I was one of the last people who were collecting books at this age. But maybe buying in general was more something. That
was quite influenced.
Yeah, just you have money and we should spend it, and buying things. I think it was more that than really feeling that, being influenced by the books, but more by buying. For me, the idea of minimalism comes from kind of, it's a bit weird to say it like that, but it's kind of anti-capitalism, because ever since I'm young, I have a feeling that the world is always trying to sell me or people, I know, things, and they want to really label you as someone who owns something. And be it watching TV with your family in the evening, and you have all these commercials about the latest gadgets that are there on the market, or anything new about like clothing companies having the newest trends, till even something as simple as a pen. Like in India, I'm not sure in Netherlands, like they sell a pen like that, like
In
it's
India,
a bit less popular, I think.
yeah,
in the Netherlands.
I would not name the company, but like there would be a huge advertisement, and the end goal would be to buy a particular brand of pen, for example.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, that really got me thinking, like at a quite young age actually, because what's the goal? What's the purpose of it? Like, there has to be someone who's producing all these things in big quantities, and the goal, of course, for those companies is to make money.
But did you really feel like when you were watching TV or newspapers or whatever, did you really feel like I have to buy this? Because I never had that in my life.
I had that at school. I had it till I was 12, maybe not after that. I'm not sure. 12, 13. Till that time, there was a pressure that your schoolmates, they have, say, for example, the newest collection of Pokemon cards. Just name something. That was a thing in that time.
Yeah.
and Beyblades, for example, like
I don't know. Pokemon cards I know.
Those are kind of the things that go around, like they are. And then you do some fights with them. There was also a cartoon series in India.
I know it.
Named Beyblade and.
I don't know if they name it the same in the Netherlands, but I know where you're talking about.
Right. I didn't like. I was not the kind of kid who would like plead my mother till the end to buy one for me. And I remember I got one for a birthday gift anyway, because my parents knew that I really like it, so they got one for me. But that was it. But I have never had like really attachment from like to material stuff in general. Like, although it would have felt to maybe some people at that moment that I had it, but it was more influenced by the people I was around than coming from me inside.
Yeah.
Also, I remember like people being busy with new trends. That's also still the case, that there are new trends on the market, or the latest iPhone, or the latest car. People want to buy it. People see it like a game, or it is made like a game by the marketing companies, that we have the latest and the newest and the freshest of everything, and if you don't have this one, then you're behind.
And what was the age when you realized that you just feel like they're showing you things to buy? Was it already when you were younger, or?
Yeah, at a young age, I was not really conscious about it, but as I said, like from around 14, 15, like a little bit going towards high school, then I realized that these companies really want to sell me stuff. And I find myself really lucky to be born in a family where my parents didn't really have things with stuff, like especially with latest gadgets and all. They were really hardworking. Their main concern was good education for me and my sister, and just the minimal stuff at home that is just enough to survive. That was it. And it's not that they could not pay that stuff, but they somehow didn't see any worth in having that stuff around.
Yeah, that's nice.
Right. And I really learned a lot from it from a young age. In the beginning, of course, when I was a kid, I was questioning it, because at school, for example, a friend would say my father bought the latest model of a particular car brand, and my father had for a long time a really old car that he was, I think, gifted by my grandfather to him, that is the father of my mother, and he drove that for a really long time. So it was not that I really wanted to go into that competition. I thought, it's good for you that your father has this car, but I'm just happy with any car.
Yeah.
As such.
But would you say that you were already a minimalist then, or were you just aware of stuff that you didn't need? Yeah,
it was more the relationship with stuff that I had from a younger age. It's not to say that I was not influenced at a later stage, even up to a few years back.
Yeah.
When
you also start earning your own money. Right.
So I have been influenced by people mostly, because I have a feeling that I just want to have a feeling to belong to a particular group at those moments, and to do that, unfortunately, sometimes you have to have a particular status, for example, or thing, so that you can connect with people about that. So it was more about that. But lately, I have stopped even caring about that.
Yeah, but what is minimalism really meaning for you now?
Yeah, minimalism for me, is a philosophy where you have very less to do with stuff, because there, of course, like the recent the modern minimalism started just after capitalism. That's also no coincidence, because after the Industrial Revolution, you saw, like in the just after the war in Europe, in the 1950s, 60s, like since then you had this consumer market, and you had like washing machines and the latest air conditioners or freezers, for example. Television was a big thing, and since then minimalism also came about to be known as it is known now. But in Eastern philosophy, especially where like the religion that I have been brought up in, like Hinduism, they're like, associating yourself with things was never a thing. It was always like part of Hindu philosophy that having too much of anything, material thing, will get you nowhere. So you have to be detached to material things. And that I think I'm really thankful to be part of that culture, and to be part of the family that I was brought up in, to think like that. Although in India also there are many people who are really like attached to material stuff. So that's everywhere. But I think it's more after like capitalism and industrialization that happened.
And can you give an example from the religion, how you learned about it? Or can you give an example what is happening in the religion?
Yeah, it's like, that can be another podcast actually, because Hinduism is not really a religion. It's more towards spirituality, and it's kind of a way of life. There are no directives as such, that there are certain things that you should do, certain not. There's a lot being talked about how you should behave, and in that, what in particular with minimalism that comes to mind is that you just consume from earth what you really need, and that has to be in accordance with food, shelter, mainly just that.
But then again, you come to the question, what do you need is for everyone different.
And
that is what I also sometimes find a bit difficult about it.
Yeah, right. Because if you're used to being in the West, like brought up in the West, in a developed country, then sleeping on a mattress that is really soft is just normal for you.
And we see as something we need.
Right.
But if you go to, for example,
to
India,
Eastern cultures, they're sleeping on the ground, or just sleeping outside on the veranda, or just sleeping with a lot of people together on the ground. Is just fine. It's just normal. Until date, your family sometimes is surprised when you talk about it. That at my home, sometimes when we have relatives over and they stay, then all of us just sleep on the floor. And I'm also used to just sleep on the floor, even if I'm just saying something crazy, like if I become a millionaire, and I think I would not really complain about sleeping on the floor then.
Yeah, because for you're used to that.
Yeah.
Not that you're sleeping now every day on the floor, but you're used to the idea that it's okay to sleep on the floor, that you don't need a mattress.
Yeah, it's just going back to the basics that didn't really change too much in India. It's also there, like, of course, my family doesn't sleep on the floor every day.
No.
But it's just something they're okay with.
Yeah.
They're okay with eating with hands, for example. Like we as humans have been doing that for a long time. Like, that's why you ask me, what is minimalism? Like, just something simple like eating with hands, I think, is minimalism. I think requiring forks and knives and I don't know, a full set of spoons to eat. Yeah.
Is it spoons, big spoons, even bigger spoons.
Yeah. And earlier, as humans, we also didn't need that. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that we don't do it now, but we try to do it at a minimal level. Like we try to have, at this moment, I'm not sure if we even own any spoons or cutlery.
Maybe just a
we'll
couple,
come to that later. Or maybe now. Like maybe you would like to talk about our journey, like with minimalism, how it went to the next level in the past year.
Yeah, and I already said before, when I moved in with Amit, then I had to do a lot of stuff away. Mm-hmm. But then we lived in a small place. Later we bought our own house. And in that house we lived for 2 years, exactly 2 years.
Right. And
at the moment we went out of that house, we had to do all our stuff away. It's a bit complex. I have to explain it better, because maybe you think now, of the listeners would think like, hey, you had to go away, why? But like some time back, 1 year back, we decided to sell our house, sell the stuff we have, and live a bit simple and everywhere we wanted.
Yeah.
And
to just have more freedom to move around and do things that we really like.
Yeah. So in the house we bought, we lived 2 years. But when we decided to do the house away, we also had to do most of our stuff away.
Yeah.
And
that was quite some task, because we ended up collecting way more stuff than we ever thought.
Yeah.
Like hidden away in cabinets or down in the storage room.
We really didn't realize how much stuff we were having. And what I always find a bit funny, if people came over to our house, they always felt like, oh, it's so clean and you don't
so
have
empty.
A lot of stuff and it's so empty.
Right.
Even my grandma was always finding it really empty in our house.
It was already quite minimalistic.
Yeah. But when we really started to do things away, we realized how much stuff we were having everywhere. Yeah. And it was really a lot of work to,
right. We had to bring like almost 2 or 3 times with the car, like also something that we got rid of, our car, to the second-hand shop, where we could just bring everything away.
Yeah.
And later on, we also saw that we also have very less need for a car, because if you go around like traveling around the world or just Europe or being in India for us, you don't really need a car.
Yeah.
But I also went back to the question that my life before the car in Netherlands, even with the same job where I was biking to work, it was much healthier. I was using public transport, and of course, it was more sustainable, and it was more minimalistic, like coming to the point.
Yeah, we got really used to having the car.
Yeah.
But then when we did the car away, we
didn't really miss it.
No, we didn't miss it at all.
Right. And that's what with, like, I think 90% of the stuff I think people own, that if they do away, maybe in the beginning, I think there would be quite some people who would miss it, but there are also many people who would not miss the stuff that they are not having.
No, and if you take the car as an example again, that some people, they need a car,
Yeah.
And they need it because otherwise they cannot get to their job, and maybe they have a whole family, so it's nice to have the car.
Right.
And that is also not, as a minimalist you can have a car.
Yeah.
If you really need it, you can have it.
Yeah.
But in our situation, we felt like we don't really need it anymore. Maybe once or twice or maybe 5 times a year we really need it. But when we need a car, can we not come up with another solution?
Always.
In Netherlands, but I also think in other countries now you can rent cars really easy.
Yeah.
You can share cars. There are just people who can rent out your car.
I even know of a company in Netherlands that works on the same concept. Like they figured that out, like how to make a business out of it. That there are so many cars you see, like right across the window here. There are so many cars parked all day. Sometimes, like I have something with brands of cars, like I remember them. Like I like to keep account of new cars that are on the market and all. I don't like to own them, of course.
Like to look at them.
Yeah, so I a lot of times, like it was the same in India. Like in the neighborhood, I would always have in mind, okay, this car is standing here for quite a lot of days. And you also see here on the streets, there are people who go on vacation or who don't use their car, and now especially in COVID times that they're working from home a lot, and the car is there for just 1 or 2 times a week when they plan a trip to a relative a few miles away, which they can also easily do with a train here in Europe.
Yeah.
But you see that the company that they said, the people who will not be, who have all these cars lying idle, so in that time they can make money by renting it out to other people. So that was the concept. But you see, as humans, we have made things so much more complex than they have to. First of all, we invented cars, and now cars are just standing idle most of the time, like either at home or at work. So we just need it for the moment, going from A to B. We leave it at B, we work there 8 to 10 hours, then we come back. And in nowadays, like especially people with like service level jobs who can just work from home, they just stay at point A and the car stays just there sitting idle. So you realize like how inefficient like we have made things, and to solve things what we do is just build more cars, but that's not the solution.
Yeah, especially if there are so many other options.
Yeah.
You in this time you don't really have to own your own car anymore.
No.
But for a lot of people it's also a way to show off, to show other people, look what I have. I have the best, newest car.
Right.
And for us that is something that is not that important to show what we have.
Yeah, and that really comes from, I think it's also a byproduct of capitalism, of the modern world, that people work really hard in unhappy jobs to earn money, to buy stuff, to impress people they don't even know or they don't really like.
Yeah.
And they would do anything, go to any extent to prove that they have it better than those people. So if my neighbor or if a friend of mine is buying a particular car which is better than my car, has the latest technology, then somehow like I would also feel the intent of doing the same.
Yeah.
So that was something that we didn't want to be a part of that game, like especially like working, being in the same, I would call it a rat race, like always call it a rat race, because it's ending nowhere. It can just end up anywhere, and with the consequences, you don't know what the consequences are going to be of it. Like there is having a proper job and then buying things, and there's no end to the things, and it's just kind of fueling your ego and fueling having this competition with people around you with status that I find not that nice.
I agree to that.
Yeah.
But to go back to the house we were owning, when we were being busy with doing everything away, we kept, of course, a few things. And we have at my because we don't own a place now, we have some boxes at my parents' house. And most people would say you're just having, how many boxes are there? 8? 8 boxes
not even
with
10,
stuff.
right?
And we have 2 suitcases with clothes. So we don't own that much.
And that was after like getting rid of our stuff. Like we have clothes like that. That's a rule that we make. Like it maybe belongs to a tip, but I would already give it now to our listeners. That if I think you should have only that much clothes that fit in one suitcase for you, for one person. I think that's enough.
We have 1 suitcase a person.
And you have then included the winter clothes and summer clothes and spring.
Everything.
I think everything should fit in a standard travel suitcase for everyone.
And some people can maybe do with less, but we have kind of the rule for ourselves, 1 suitcase a person, because we don't want to do too much away and then we have to buy again, because we are in cold places, we are in really warm places, and we just want, for all those weather types we are in, the clothes we need. So we don't want to do too much away. But so what I said, we don't own that much, but we still find sometimes it's too much.
Right.
Yes. Sometimes we still feel like, is there not more we can do away? Because we just spent 5 months in India.
Right.
And all the stuff at my parents' place, we didn't use for 5 months.
No.
We didn't not even miss it for those 5 months. But most of the things that we kept are personal stuff, some books and clothes and working stuff. But more than that, we are not owning at the moment. And I remember when we were busy with seeing what we want to keep and what could go away. I also felt a kind of relief to get rid of the things
Same
that
here, same here. The feeling is really mutual here. So I'm really happy to have you as my partner, and that we think similar in that way. And that has really also got rid of the mental baggage that you have. I think the more stuff you own in general, especially stuff that you don't really need, the more baggage that you're going to carry around, like mentally also. Looking at the time as well, like I would like to move on to the next question or the broader topic that is interesting to talk about is minimalism just a trend?
We already talked before a bit about it. That
I think so too.
Minimalism is already existing for, I think since the beginning.
Right.
Like
since the beginning of humanity, it has been there, and you see the times of hunters and gatherers that they carried only stuff that they needed at that point.
That they could carry.
Stuff to protect themselves, and then they would just be at some place and then they would leave. And we just saw recently a documentary in Netherlands about the history of the Netherlands. And there we saw all the problems that came when people started to settle down at particular places.
Because they started feeling that they had to protect their stuff, their land, their stuff, and before it was not happening.
And that unfortunately continues to be also the reality of the modern world, that people who accumulate a lot in their life, they have a feeling that they have to protect it, they have to give it to someone, or just transfer the wealth that they have. It has been inbuilt in us, but life is so much more than that. It is about relationships, it is about experiences, nice experiences, about getting to know the world around us. It is just so much more than stuff.
And so it always has been there. But I think the last 10 years, it became more popular. More people started to talk about it.
Right.
And so it is a bit of a trend at the moment. But is it bad?
Yeah, that's the question. Like, yeah, I'm always intrigued about a quote that comes to my mind, like from Mahatma Gandhi, who already, like, before the concept of minimalism and capitalism started the way it is now, he already said that the world has enough for everyone's need, but not for everyone's greed. So if there's no end to what you want, and you keep producing stuff because it's cheap, and to do so and to just fuel the economy, like if I just walk in the supermarket, like, just for me, I see 90% of the things are not important for me. Like, I look at fruits, I look at vegetables, at nuts that I really like. Nuts are also quite expensive, by the way, nowadays. But if you eat them in moderation, it's fine. But yeah, most of all the candy, for example, the snack section, we don't drink any alcohol, we don't drink any coffee, we don't drink any cola. So those stuff, like, for me, doesn't make sense. If tomorrow someone says, oh, those companies don't exist anymore, I would not even miss it. And I know that for everyone that's different, because some people really survive on coffee, and that's completely fine. Some people really like to drink cola, for example. So it's but there's so much nowadays, like, in our lives, that for sure we can do without. Like, a lot of it we can do without.
But I also think it's good that people got to know a bit more about this, because even it's always have been there, but some people might not think about it because they are so into their daily life things, like going to work, taking care of maybe their children, doing the sport, and you've been so busy that a lot of people maybe didn't think about this. And because it became more of a trend at this moment, people started to hear about it again. And I hear a lot of people around, but also online, that they started to think about it to do things the way they don't need, but also not to buy things anymore they don't need. Because it's not only about doing things away, but it's also about not buying it anymore.
Right. So moving to some practical tips, like, do you have some tips for people how they can start decluttering at home? Some tips so that they can also follow the path of becoming a minimalist?
I think the most important one is to break tasks down. Because I remembered when we were busy in our house to clean, we had to do it in like 1 month. It was really... we had to do it really quick. But if we don't have a house at the moment, but I understand that most people are having a house. But if you want to start in your house to get rid of things, take your time and do it really step by step. So, for example, start in your bookshelf. See what books are there, and if you really need them, if you want to keep them. And if you want to keep them, no, it's fine. You don't have to do everything away in one day. But just look at it and see which book you read and you don't need anymore. Please don't throw it away, but give it away to someone or go to a second-hand shop to give it to someone else. But start there. Then slowly look at your clothes. And even your clothes you can divide in different parts. You can first do your socks and underwear. Then go to your shirts. Then to your pants. Just go to your shoes.
It's a journey. It's a process, and you start small, and only then you will reach a bigger goal. Of course, if you plan well in advance, what kind of things you want to cut down on, what kind of on buying, for example, and what kind of things you already have that you want to get rid of. That already makes a difference by putting it down on paper and making a plan on how you want the process to look like.
There's even a challenge. I don't know the name of the challenge, but it is that you do for 1 month,
Yeah.
you do away 1,000 things.
Is it from the minimalists who are quite famous?
It's possible, but you start on day 1 with 1 thing. On day 2, you do 2 things away. On day 3,
you do
3
things away,
and you keep going on till you're on day 30.
Oh, that way I would have nothing left, I think.
We not anymore, but in the time we had more stuff.
Yeah.
It is a nice way to maybe start with it. So every day you feel like, okay, I go through this cabin to do something away. The next day I go to that cabin to do something away. So slowly you're just picking it up.
Yeah.
But also what is really nice to do, make a kind of list with questions.
Yeah.
Because if you start cleaning your house and you get rid of things, you might get some questions for yourself, like, do I really use this?
Yeah.
Did I maybe use it the last 6 or 12 months?
Yeah.
Am I gonna use it the coming 6 months?
Yeah.
And if I do this away, can I borrow it from someone? Because maybe you have something in your house you're just using once a year.
Yeah.
Then you can see if I'm doing this away, can I borrow it from someone? And just do it really that way. Make a list with questions that if you don't know, if you want to keep something or do something away, that you can ask yourself a few questions. And if you cannot answer them positive, then you don't need it. You can do it away.
And one tip that comes to my mind is just letting go of the feeling that you own stuff, that the stuff is from you, because just be real, like everyone is going to die one day, like no one lives forever, and no one takes anything back with them to their grave. So we have to realize that a relationship with stuff has to change in that way. Yeah, but also know that if you're busy with your house and doing things away, that it's okay if you have a collection. Maybe you have a book collection you're really proud of. You don't have to do it away. No.
And that's why the question, what is minimalism, is difficult to answer, because for everyone is a bit different. And that's also okay. But ask yourself the question, what does it mean for you? If you, for example, you're having a fashion, you just like fashion, and you're maybe having your own
fast
fashion brand,
for example.
You're just busy with that.
That's another topic for another time.
But if you're really liking fashion, you don't have to do all your clothes away. You really don't have to, because we also don't want you to buy a lot of new clothes. But really see what does it mean for you. And start slowly and see what feels good for you to do away. Maybe watch some documentaries or read some books about it. That's always helpful to see how you can start. We even wrote a blog about it with some more tips and tricks. So you can go to our website to check that out.
You can log in at heygroentje.nl to read our blogs about the same. I would like to say one more thing before rounding off. Like from my side, I would like to say that I think that our must-buy economy that we have created, like with capitalism, is eating into the planet's resources like never before. So that's also an aspect that we forget, like the impact of what we do on the planet. Something that really needs to change, because minimalism is not a new concept. We have already established that in this episode, and that remains a fact. We as humans have just got more and more complex. That has meant that we have started producing stuff that we don't need, just so that the economy keeps running. But there is no economy if there is no environment, if there is no planet Earth anymore. So that's what we have to realize, and we have to really think about the stuff we own and the stuff we plan to buy. We have to cut down on that.
Yeah, you said it in a nice way, and I think there is so much more to say about minimalism, but for now,
Yeah, let's keep it minimalistic.
Yeah, let's keep it a bit minimalistic.
Yeah, there's no standard definition of minimalism, but in this blog, together with my wife, I was really happy that we could have a meaningful conversation about how we think about it, what we think it is, and how we practice it in our day-to-day life. Thanks a lot for being here on this episode of the heygroentje podcast. And yeah, I wish you a nice day ahead. If you listen to our podcast, don't forget to follow us on social media and also check out our website. Write to us if you have any questions, any comments at heygroentje@gmail.com. We'll be more than eager to answer your questions, and we hope to see you next time. Have a nice day.